Governor Sanwo-Olu tasks Lagos residents on peace, tolerance as Ramadan begins. National Orientation Agency urges Muslims to pray for national unity during Ramadan. On the foreign scene, European leaders rally behind Ukraine after President Zelensky clashes with Donald Trump. And in sports, Côte d'Ivoire defeats Nigeria's Flying Eagles in friendly match in Abidjan. And now the details. I am Mike James. As Ramadan begins, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sued for peace, tolerance among residents of the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who spoke during an interview with journalists at the Lagos House, Ikeja, urged Muslim faithful to imbibe the spirit and lessons of the season in accordance with the ideals of Prophet Muhammad. The governor also urged them to pray for the progress and continued prosperity of the state. He had this to say.
It's a period of holiness. It's a period in which people need to admonish themselves and need to encourage themselves in their faith. And it's a period where you need to be in constant conversation with your God. It's a time for us as a people where we need to continue to ensure that we live in peace and harmony that is known for Lagos. We all need to come together in prayers and supplication. It's a time where we need to indeed know that there's nothing we have if we don't do all of the right. Let the period of the season reflect in our relationship amongst ourselves.
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has unveiled the TA Lagbaja cantonment in memory of the immediate past Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Abiodun Lagbaja. This coincided with the commemoration of his 57th birthday posthumously yesterday. The event had in attendance Chief of Defense Staff Christopher Musa, the Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, Lagbaja's widow Mrs. Maria Lagbaja, other top military officers, soldiers, traditional rulers, corps members, among others. Governor Sanwo-Olu extolled the late Lagbaja's dedication to Nigeria's security, leadership in counter-terrorism efforts, and unwavering commitment to professionalism in the Nigerian Army. The governor stressed the need for security personnel to be celebrated for their sacrifice and service to Nigerians. Earlier, the Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, and Chief of Army Staff, Olufemi Oluyede, paid tribute to the late Lagbaja for his service to the Nigerian Army and Nigeria at large, especially during his tenure as the Chief of Army Staff. Trees were planted in front of the newly constructed and commissioned entrance gate of the TA Ladoja Lagbaja Cantonment, formerly known as Ikeja Military Cantonment, in the Maryland area of Lagos. Lagos State Government has urged residents of Lagos Island to cooperate with the present administration in its commitment to ensuring urban regeneration, reconstruction, renewal, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of road projects and drainage channels in the area. Special advisor to the governor on infrastructure, Olufemi Daramola, stated this at a stakeholders meeting of Idumagbo Avenue, Ojo, Giwa, Oroyi, Moshalashi, Okoya, Iga, Idugaro Street, and Adenija Dele Road in Lagos Island local government area. Daramola said no fewer than 15 road projects would be embarked upon in collaboration with the Office of the Special Advisor on Enterprise, Geographic Information Service, EGIS, and Urban Development, Olajide Babatunde, and relevant ministries in the state.
You can recall that Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration in the past has done Okekpoko, Takpa, and a part of Adeniji Adele, which is in line with our Themes Plus agenda. However, we need to continue to improve our connectivity within the axis, and most importantly, abate the issue of flood, regeneration as well. Government's good intentions towards improving the socioeconomic value of this area. So all we are asking for is maximum cooperation. Cooperation in all forms of it.
On his part, the Permanent Secretary, Office of Infrastructure, Lateef Shomide, said the stakeholders meeting was convened as part of the state government efforts to foster inclusive governance in Lagos Island, which is a commercial center, as well as the flooding area in line with the Themes Plus agenda of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration, as works commence on the road project, which would have social impact, reduce travel time, among other benefits. Also speaking, Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage Service, Mahmood Adigbite, urged residents to cooperate with the state government to enhance the aesthetic value, improve the drainage channels, and ensure they have septic tanks in their houses and by proper waste disposal. Stakeholders at the event urged the state government to build recreational centers in the axis, work more on removing illegal structures, ensure compliance of environmental laws, restating their support for the state government in its bid to make the area livable and conducive for residents. And now to the rest of the stories. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, has called on Nigerian Muslims to pray for peace, unity, and national development in the month of Ramadan. NOA Director General Lanre Issa Onilu, who made the call, encouraged Muslims to use the month of Ramadan for spiritual reflections, increased devotion, and acts of charity that align with the teachings and tenets of Islam. Issa Onilu said, for the development of the country, all citizens must pray for peace and unity, irrespective of one's religious and political affiliation. He called on all citizens to use the month of Ramadan to continue to pray for the present administration and the development of the country. Ogun State Police Command says it will continue to collaborate with stakeholders to ensure the security of lives and property in the state. Commissioner of Police in the state, Olanrewaju Ogunlowo, who announced this, said community engagement is pivotal to effective policing and ensuring the safety of the citizens. Ogunlowo said security is not solely the responsibility of law enforcement agencies, but a collective duty, and people must all work together to combat crime, especially emerging threats that endanger communities. And in some foreign news, European leaders are rallying around Ukraine after President Volodymyr Zelensky clashed with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. During Friday's meeting, Trump bluntly accused Zelensky of gambling with World War III, while the Ukrainian president said there should be no compromises with Russia. French President Emmanuel Macron, who met Trump earlier this week, says Russia is an aggressor, while Ukraine is a victim. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz says nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians do, adding that Ukraine can rely on Germany and on Europe. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says an immediate summit is needed between the US, Europe, and its allies to discuss the war in Ukraine. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has spoken with both presidents ahead of a summit of European leaders, including Zelensky, in London. And now, sports news. Nigeria's Flying Eagles fell 2-0 to Cote d'Ivoire in a friendly at the Stade Félix Stadium in Abidjan. The Junior Elephants avenged 2-0 loss to the Flying Eagles in the first friendly on Wednesday. Takbi Kada opened scoring for the host after 17 minutes. The Ivorians doubled their advantage through Isaac Cisse in the 53rd minute. Both countries used the friendlies to prepare for the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. Seven-time champions Nigeria will now reconvene for the final preparation ahead of the Under-20 AFCON. Nigeria is in Group B with Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa. And that was our news at 12. But just before we go, speed thrills but kills. Please do not drive beyond specified speed limits. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs. It's live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration provided 450,000 pupils with e-learning devices? You can always get more details on the Lagos State Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. As Ramadan begins, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sued for peace, tolerance among residents of the state. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, has called on Nigerian Muslims to pray for peace, unity, and national development in the month of Ramadan. We also told you that European leaders are rallying around Ukraine after President Volodymyr Zelensky clashed with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. And in sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles fell 2-0 to Cote d'Ivoire in a friendly in Abidjan. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast. It was compiled by Kayode Mafalashiri. Thank you for listening, Lagos. My name is Mike James. Good afternoon.